Now let's talk about the historical context in 1848. If you remember, in 1848, in Europe, there was a series of revolutions. The most important one, the February Revolution in France. We talked about that. At that time, in 1848, we can say that Italy was a patchwork of petty states, that is to say, unimportant states. They didn't have any importance at all. Sardinia, the Papal States, and the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies were the states, the independent states. This is very important to remember. They were independent. The Kingdom of Sardinia was in the north, and also it was an island, as I told you. The Papal States in the central region, and the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies in the south. But as I told you before, there was a series of petty states. For example, Lombardy and Venetia, they used to be republics. They were independent, but they were defeated by Austria, and they were incorporated to the territories of Austria. And some other kingdoms, the Kingdom of Tuscany, Parma, and Modena, had rulers who responded to the Habsburgs, who were the dynasty the members of the dynasty in Austria. So most of the territories of Italy before unification belonged to Austria. Don't forget about that, because in this way we are going to come back to talk about Otto von Bismarck. Let's continue with the historical context. The old governments that we mentioned were unpopular. Which were the governments we mentioned? Venetia, Tuscany, Modena, the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies, the Papal States, all of them were unpopular, except for Sardinia. Why wasn't Sardinia unpopular? Simply because Sardinia had a king at that time. The king was Charles Albert, and he had different people who advised him, and one of them was Camillo di Cavour, someone we are going to talk about in a few minutes. So Sardinia took the lead. If you remember, in Germany, Prussia took the lead. How did Prussia take the lead? Remember, through a series of reforms that paved the way for democracy. Well, this was Charles Albert, and also he paved the way for the coming of democratic reforms. There was a constitution and a parliament. And in the constitution there was a Bill of Rights, so people who lived in Sardinia were happy because their rights were respected, or at least they thought their rights were respected. While in the other kingdoms, the people did not have the same rights, and the governments were utterly unpopular. So that is why Sardinia took the lead, because the democratic reforms were being imposed in that kingdom.